Hello, huge movie fanatic Nate, stopping on by. This time I'm coming at you to review this. Friday the 13th, the first Blu-ray in the recently released Scream Factory Friday the 13th Deluxe Collection. I'm going to just be reviewing the Blu-ray. I've already reviewed, of course, the movies. So if you want to see how I feel about the movies, feel free to just search out my review on my channel for the review of the movies. I think I did like 1 through 8 2 years ago, like in-depth hardcore, reviews of my thoughts on the movies. So this will just be a review of the recently released Blu-ray. First off the bat, we've got, with all of the movies, of course, we've got the clear cases, which I think looks fine. I think it actually looks better than the blue ones, of course. Some people think maybe black would have been better. I kind of like the clear ones with this release, so I'm fine with that. Obviously, for the very first time in a Blu-ray release, we've got the original poster art, and I've already talked about in my review of the movie a couple years ago how I regard this poster as just one of the all-time best movie posters ever made. It's so great to finally have it on the frickin' cover of a Blu-ray release of Friday the 13th. And you've got the little thing on top there. They were warned, they are doomed, and on Friday the 13th, nothing will save them. So what this Blu-ray features, I think that is exclusive to this particular release, is a new 4K scan of the original camera negative. And what's really cool is you've got both the uncut version and the original theatrical R-rated version on 2 discs, which is really, really, really cool. And I think the other thing that is exclusive to this particular release is like a restored mono soundtrack. And what's really cool, as a fan of just original mono in general, it was really cool when you put in the movie and press play, like default, if there is, like on the uncut version, or the unrated version, the uncut version, there's the option to go 5.1 sound, of course. And what's really cool is when you press play, it's original. I think I didn't test this on all titles. I can only assume it's this way across all the titles, like the original mono era, 1 through 5. But when you press play, it's default original mono track on all the titles. As I said, I didn't test it. I can only assume it is. And then if you want, 5.1, you have to select it, of course. And I just thought that was so freaking cool. Like, if I had my way, that's exactly what I would have done with this release, is have, the default audio be original mono, original audio. I mean, we can assume, 6 and 7 and 8 is default 2-channel stereo as well. But I just thought right off the bat that was just so cool to have just original mono being the default audio for this release. And of course, from what I understand, the R-rated version, since in 2009 or whatever the hell they remastered the movies for Blu-ray, the only version that was available on the Blu-ray, that Blu-ray was the uncut version. So when they did the 5.1 remix, of course, it was only for that version. So when you watch the disc in this collection that features the theatrical version, you've only have the option for original mono, which is absolutely fine for me, because I'm not going to bother with the 5.1s for any of these movies whatsoever. Having seen the movie, now basically it should be said that I was curious about the R-rated version, so I only watched the R-rated version. I didn't watch the uncut disc. I just watched the R-rated disc, and right off the bat, when you see the Paramount logo, you can tell that things are definitely noticeably more crisp about this transfer. I can definitely say that it's much more crisp, and it seems like detail and stuff like that. I guess the word crisp just keeps coming to mind in regards to the transfer, the new 4K scan of Friday the 13th, 1980. It's like I said, I think I may have said it in my review or said it in a video. If I didn't say it, I'll say it now, that the initial, the first Blu-ray of Friday the 13th really is good enough for my life and the rest of my life. It was a huge brightness increase over the DVD and stuff, and a lot. When that original Blu-ray came out, it was just an amazing upgrade from what the DVD was, from what we originally, previously had available, that I was perfectly fine with the original Blu-ray release of Friday the 13th for the rest of my life. And to be honest, there's still things about that scan that I like more than this one. Part of me almost feels like that this is almost too snazzy as I watch it. Like, it's almost too sharp. You know, when I first saw this new scan on the R-rated cut on this Scream Factory edition, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'll even be watching the movie with these discs. You know, I've lived for so long, yeah, like 9 or 10 years now with the original Blu-ray release of Friday the 13th, that I don't know. I feel so at home with that version, and not that this one. I mean, this one's really not all that different. One thing I did notice, I don't know if it was me or if it was in my mind or if it was really there, which, you know, my settings on, you know, like my brightness settings on the TV and stuff like that, like the original Blu-ray for Friday the 13th 1980 looks fine, but this one with the brightness settings not being changed and stuff, I feel like a lot of times it's almost too bright. And of course you could just adjust that on your TV with the brightness settings or contrast and this stuff, but I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just so used to the original Blu-ray release that, like, and I'm just so fine with that one, that one is good enough for me. I don't know. I mean, so that'll be pretty much my review of the image quality of the movie. Like, you can definitely tell there's an uptick in, like, sharpness, you know. There's definitely an improvement in sharpness. I want to say, like, possibly the, you know, contrast and or brightness might not be as good in certain areas as it is in the first Blu-ray release, but again, you can easily just adjust that on your TV with your brightness and contrast settings and stuff. But it was really cool to actually be able to, because I haven't seen, like, the theatrical version for a long time, and you know, I really, you know, some people are probably like, well, what's the hell's the point of even including the R-rated cut, you know, at all? Who's going to want to watch it? And the answer is, well, me. I mean, I grew up in a lot of my years before 2009. That was the only version we had to watch, of course. Well, if you watch the DVD, of course, it had the uncut version of Annie's death accidentally, which is something that was kind of a bonus at the time and kind of fun, like, oh wow. But besides that, I mean, you know, I lived with the R-rated version up until like 2009 or whatever, so that's a lot of years. So it's really cool. As a huge fan of this movie and it being one of my favorite movies of all time, I'm definitely excited and glad to have the R-rated cut included as well. And how cool is it to have it featured on its own disc, you know? So you've already seen the front cover. This is what the back cover looks like. The guy just holding his tummy there, and that really cool shot of Alice. Here's what the discs look like inside. How cool is that? Original artwork on the disc. You've got uncut version and original theatrical R-rated version. And so often is the case with a release like this, you have an option for the original North American theatrical artwork or this artwork, which I guess is some kind of international artwork, which is cool to have as an option. Obviously, I'm not going to be using it. I'm going to be using the North American artwork, of course. But as I said, it's definitely cool to have an option to use international artwork if you'd rather have that. And then on the back, of course, you've got different images, which is kind of cool. Nettie playing a prank, and the classic shot of Adrienne King in the canoe there. Classic stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed my review of the Scream Factory release of Friday the 13th, 1980 Deluxe Edition version. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, we'll catch you on the next video.